There's a saying that says if you wait till the last minute, it will only take a minute to do something, and that's where we're at today. I'm standing on our pole barn pad that we've been working on for several weeks, but before we can schedule the pole barn build, we've got to clean up all this area or else we're not going to be able to get to it. So I've got a lot of stuff to clean up, and it's going to take every piece of equipment we have here on the property. I got the Summit TX25, I got the Summit dump trailer, I got our Kubota L3901, and I'm also going to be grabbing our excavator because I've got to get this done today. First thing I got to do is move this pile right here because it's in the way. And the reason we have two piles of dirt here is because when we put in the driveway in front of the mega shed, I had to carve out about 4 inches of dirt to lay down the road base and the gravel. And I thought we would use this dirt to kind of do around the pump house there and get that all sloped properly. But since I'm going to move it with the tractor today, I might as well put it in the pasture. What we found is our pasture has settled over the years since we had the land cleared, and there's some stump holes and stuff out there. And it's real bumpy, and it'll beat you up on the tractor and the zero turn. So what we're going to do is fill in those depressions out there with this soil. And I think I see someone behind me sneaking up. Maybe not. I thought I caught something out of the corner of my eye. But anyway, let's jump on the Kubota and get this dirt moved.
Ha! That might be the best one yet. Got him.
So this is what happens when you photobomb me. You get to scrub the side of the house. Mess with the bull, get the horns. All right, so what we have here is we have a dirty house. And this house has been dirty for almost 2 years. And we finally got sick of it. We're using some TSP and some water, and it's already looking so much better. Man, country living, it's always something. Deb was cleaning off the side of the house, and we couldn't get water to come out of the hose, and we have a outside hydrant out there. And I put that in, and it's a 1-inch line going all the way there, but we couldn't get any water to come out of the hose. So I went up to the pump, or the well house, and there was pressure up there, 40 pounds of pressure. But what had happened was somehow in this line, which has been in place since last summer, at least 8 months, 6 months anyway, there was a clog. There was some kind of clog in there, and I was able to work it out, and it got out of the hydrant, and now we got pressure again. She's making progress. Looks like a whole lot of fun. But I'm gonna go tractor. In here, we have a little divot where we brought water into the mega shed. So I want to grade this off a little bit so that we can mow with the zero turn right up to the edge of the shed. Because right now, that's too bumpy, and we've been doing all that with a weed eater. Got a bunch of old seed here I'm going to put down too. I got some millet, then some Pensacola bahia, which is the grass that's in our pasture. Maybe this millet will seed first and hold in this bank. Got some ryegrass too. That'll grow in the bed of your pickup, so that will help. And lastly, we'll put down the actual bahia grass that we have in all our pastures. Grows real well here in Florida. Good root system. Looks pretty good when you mow it too. That needed to be done, and now's a good time to do it before things start greening up here in Florida. Do it now instead of doing it in the summer when it'll be harder to establish grass. All right, we'll check in with Mrs. PG here, scrubbing away.
Okay, so it looks a million times better. It is not perfect, but it does look better. So if you're thinking about using red clay to go around your white house, think twice about it. That's all I'm saying, is because it wasn't that long ago, and it made a mess. But I think if we do it one more time in a month or so, I think we'll be able to get the rest of this up, and I think it'll look a lot better. So next up, painting the door.
Back to our regularly scheduled program. Got this pretty good here. I'll just take the tractor, pack that in. I got to dig out where the valve is that takes the water into there. This all looks pretty good here. I think I'm going to take another small bucket of dirt and just kind of meld it into this grass that's here so that the grass can grow up through it, and then pack it in with the tractor tires, and this part of this job will be done. Remember that water shutoff valve? Well, I thought I could dig it with my hand, but it's kind of packed, but it's right here. I got to dig that out. This goes to show that even when you have good machines, that you still have to get down and dirty with the old-fashioned shovel. It's in here somewhere. I remember that color of dirt, so. Yeah, there it is. There it is, right there. It doesn't matter if water goes down in that hole. I'll bevel it a little bit. It's not as big a bump for the zero turn. That came out good. Pack that with the tractor. Call that a day. Have you ever had rutabaga fries? We've been growing rutabagas out in the garden here. And last night we had some deer sausage with some rutabaga fries. And I don't think I've ever had them in my life before, but Deb wanted to try them. They're really good. So she just picked some more. I guess rutabaga fries are gonna be part of our weekly diet. Classic Piney Grove fashion, I'm not gonna have enough time to do what I said I was gonna do in the beginning of the video. So rather than going and putting this dirt in the pasture, I'm gonna move that pile to that pile just so I can get access here. What's important is that I clear out that space so we can schedule our pole barn build. So fixing the pasture, we'll have to wait for another day. All right guys, we broke out the big guns. I love tractoring, but I absolutely love using the mini excavator. So we're gonna take Precious, yep, that's what I named her, Precious, clean up this brush, put it in a pile over here, and then put it on the trailer so we can cart it off. But in just a few minutes, we're gonna have this area looking real good. I could have come in here with a chainsaw and cut up this brush or cut it off, but I've done that probably 3 times in 6 years, and it keeps growing back. This is how you keep it from growing back. Right there. A piece of brush will never grow here again. I talk about how great this excavator is and how much I love it. And none of that is social media, clickbait, whatever. It's 100% true. And speaking of things that I like.
Oh, you said like. You didn't say love.
I was gonna talk about the sandwich. And then I was gonna say, speaking of things I love besides Precious. So she made me a sausage biscuit. Now I don't have to stop working. 2 things. Get yourself a good excavator. Get yourself a good woman. She's not a country girl, but she's quickly transforming. She's loving it out here. She got the outside of the house clean. Now we got to take a load of stuff to the dump and the Goodwill, and it seems like we can never get caught up out here. Look at that, with 3 scoops or whatever, 3 buckets, we've cleaned this whole area up. We're gonna do a little bit more though. I wanna be careful not to dig in this area. I don't wanna mess up the roots of this oak tree. We got 2 oak trees on either side of this path going back to the back of our property. And I think they're gonna look awesome as they fill in here, kind of like a tunnel. So I'll probably end up at some point taking out these 3 pine trees so this oak tree can really do its thing. But I'll come in here and get this brush and that brush, get in behind that pile. And if I had time today, I would actually take down some of those pine trees and chip them up and dig out the stumps, because that's the area that I want to bed down all of my supplies here, or treasures as Deb likes to call them. I just filled up Precious with diesel. I've just filled myself up with a biscuit. I'm ready to work. One thing we can grow here in Florida, and that's brush. And push that down so you can get a better view. Speaking of blocking the view, my dad had retina pigmentosis, so he's basically blind for most of his adult life. And when he got diagnosed, the doctor told him, your sight's gonna go, so whatever you wanna do in life, you wanna see, any sights you wanna see, you should do it now. So him and my mom went to Alaska. They drove up there with their camper, and he met a bunch of retired Air Force couples, I guess. My dad lived on a waterfront property in Virginia, and we moved him and mom down here to Piney Grove just over a year ago. And he was always big on view. So we had a farm on the water, but it was a farm. It wasn't you know, a neighborhood or anything like that. But when he bought it, it was real grown up along the waterfront. And while he was a farmer and didn't have a lot of time to do, you know, landscaping, he wanted to make sure that he had a view so he could enjoy that water. Anyway, when he got up to Alaska, some of these people I guess they had bought land and they had their campers on the land, and they had like brush, just really tall brush, and they couldn't see the view of the Kenai River or whatever the rivers are up there in Alaska. So my dad, in a rented spot with his camper, spent his vacation time cutting down trees so these retired Air Force guys could have a view. Didn't bother him one bit that he was on vacation and he was using a chainsaw and sweating. I'm sure as long as they gave him a beer, he was good to go. I don't want to get too involved with this because it's like a dirt road, man. I get too wrapped up in this, and before you know it, the sun's setting and I don't have anything done I wanted to get done. I can't believe I picked it all up. I thought I'd drop a bunch of it. Let's see how much I can get to stay on the trailer. That's a full load. You can't even see that Summit trailer in there. Looks like a duck blind or a deer stand. The biggest rat you ever want to see came out of that wood pile and went up under that tarp where that pecan wood is. And I'm not lying, it's like a muskrat, like a small cat in there. I saw it. It needs to go. I could stay on that Mini all day, but I got this area cleaned out here. I got the trailer loaded, and now this last little group of brush that I got piled up right there, I took the excavator and made like a big tennis ball out of it. I'm gonna grab that with the Summit and the grapple, go over and put that on the burn pile, come back and get the trailer, go dump the trailer, then the trailer will be empty, and I'll take the excavator and fill the trailer again, and those cedar logs I want to keep for milling, I'll put on the forks of the Kubota tractor. I can't believe that it's taken all of our equipment to do this, but each one has, depending on what's on the front of it, has a specialized job. And it's just so much easier having multiple machines than to be swapping attachments off the front of it. We're just really blessed and fortunate to have the opportunity to demo this Summit tractor and then also use our Kubota 3901 and our KX71 excavator. That was a pretty sporty pile of brush I just took. And this is what I used the Summit tractor in between the pines. I used the grapple as a root rake, and I got up all the roots and all the pine needles that were in there, cleaned that up real good. So I'm gonna fill the trailer with that and get that over to the compost / burn pile. Deb says I have 1 hour before we have to get on the road, so I'm gonna try and get as much done as possible here. It's funny, I've been thinking that every one of these machines has a purpose, and some of them, or there's many dual purposes to them, and you can probably get everything I've done today done with any of these one machines, but it just would have been awkward and time consuming. And although it's already taken me a long time, it just would have took me a lot longer if I only had one machine to try to figure out how to do everything I'm doing. Like I could load this trailer with the grapple, but then I'd have to unhook the trailer, use the grapple, rehook the trailer, and I could load those cedar trees with the grapple, but the excavator is just a lot more precise. One thing you can do with an excavator sitting here is push away from you so you can organize the pile to get a better bite. Pretty neat. We've got about a whole man year, like 2,100 hours invested into everything that we have done at Piney Grove. And that don't count the transit time or the contractors that we've hired, just our time on tractors and with shovels. And I don't even know what it would take, probably 6,000 more hours, maybe 3 more years of just working 40 hours a week to get everything the way we want it. But the good news is we got some good machines to do it with. Well, there goes another Piney Grove video where I said I was gonna get a whole bunch of things done and I didn't get them all completely done, but we took a big bite out of the apple and got a lot accomplished today. Got that all cleared up. Just a few logs here we have to move. I got a bunch of cedar there, and that cedar I don't think any of that's millable, but it's definitely chippable so we can make cedar chips. So I'll put that to the side. I got this big cedar log right here. I think I can mill that. And then I got a bunch of older cedar on the trailer there, and I'll take that over to the burn pile and hopefully we can chip some of that. It's hard to chip when it's a little bit rotten, but I think there's some good wood there. But that's all I got for you today. Deb's gonna come out here and give me the hook in a minute, so I gotta get going and put all these machines away. We're gonna put a couple of links up here to a couple more of our Piney Grove videos, so check them out. But until next time, y'all take care out there. And remember, life's short, tractor hard.